God, the gracious, the merciful, we give him praise and thanks for his mercy and his goodness to the human family. If all the trees upon the earth were pens to write with, and if all the oceans were ink, and then another 7 oceans to add to its supply, the writing would still not be enough to explain the glory of God, for he's the exalted, all-powerful, all-wise. We confide in no other in our time of need, and we praise no other in our good fortune. He is one, and even if I lived to be 1,000, it would still not be enough to thank God for his many blessings and gifts. We thank God for the Metu Netter, which are oracles, scriptures, and writings that came thousands of years before any organized religion. We thank God for Moses in the Torah, Jesus in the Gospel, and Muhammad with the Quran. We greet everyone in words of peace. Assalamu alaikum. This is Brother Shareef with the Hour of Power. Go to Hour of Power, Shareef Hamid on YouTube. Subscribe and share the channel so we can continue to lift the mind, body, and soul of our people. So once again, this is Brother Shareef with the Hour of Power. Go to again, Hour of Power, Shareef Hamid on YouTube. Subscribe and share the channel. This is how we keep this thing going. So once again, I have 2 special guests with me. I'll let them introduce themselves in a quick second. We had a historic event 2 days ago here in York, PA at Penn Park. The Peace Rally. We ain't come up with a name with it yet. We're going to patent that thing because we're not going to let things that happened in the past where patents were taken from us and then other people benefited from it. Not that we're trying to make a show out of this. This is for real. But we will come up with an actual name and a label for what we did the other day. But either way, we met at the park, concerned brothers and sisters at Penn Park. We circled up. People shared their stories of those who we have lost, in the past, loved ones. We circled up, did a Harambe statement. Harambe means pulling together. And then we moved out in the community, and we're going to keep it going. So just to let people know, July 23rd at 6 p.m. at Lincoln Charter School, we will meet next Monday at 6 p.m. and we're going to hit Westworld, as they call it, and we're going to move out into the community. So that's our plan for next week. Again, 6 p.m., July 23rd at Lincoln Charter School, which is on the corner of King and West Street. Brothers and sisters in the community, especially brothers, we're going to meet up, link up, and we're going to move out in the community. Unfortunately, we just had a shooting, mass shooting at Bands Park out West End last Saturday. So that is even more of a reason that we need to hit the streets. So without no further ado, today's title, it's a rather long one. It says either you don't know, or they don't know, or they don't show that they care what's going on in the hood. And in my humble opinion, we have 2 scholars on that topic today here with the Hour of Power. So, brother, introduce yourself.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Tony, a.k.a. Butch. You might hear something to say turn up.
Yes, sir. And you from York, PA?
I'm here from York, South Side, every side. It just don't even matter. I'm just a YC resident.
Yes. Okay, brother. And my good brother here.
Hey, my name's Stanley. I go by Quick. I go by Big QU, but my name is Stanley. I'm a resident of York. I've been here my whole life. I'm just here to, make it happen, man. Get it done.
So, getting started, you 2 brothers were at the rally, march, however you want to term it, the other day, right?
Correct.
Yes.
Give us your, first start out with you, Quick. Give us your assessment, your observation of what went down, and tell us why you were there and what you got out of it.
My assessment was, I think it was a good rally. I think it could have been more people involved when you for what we was trying to do. We was trying to get with the families that lost people to violence. Get with the families that might have, be scared of their own community, or and due to the fact that there's so many people that fit in that category, I was like amazed at how many people didn't show up. But for the people that did come out, we still made it a good march. We was able to unify. We was able to talk. People was able to get things off their chest. Know that there's somebody out there that they can talk to, that do feel they're hurt. As far as how I feel about the actual rally, I think it's necessary. I think that we need to hit all sides of town. I think that people don't care until it hits their family. You got a lot of people that, they'll say things on Facebook, or they'll, I'm praying for you, but when it's time to put the action in and actually come out, oh, it's too hot outside, or, they come up with all type of different excuses, but when it actually hits their front door, then they feel it more. Right. That's how I feel.
All right. And Brother Butch, you were there at the march, right?
Yes. My whole view and perception of the movement is it's the empowerment of the people. For us to come together, to unite, because we as the people, if we don't understand what's going on in our community, of how it's designed for us to destroy each other, but we need to uplift each other and bring these things back. Because I've been doing a lot of traveling and just looking around and just seeing as a whole, how's it going? And for this to be in the community of York, I expected more people to come out, because my thing with mind boggles me so much is when stores got sneaker sales coming out, we lay all day, wait for the new sneaker to come out, or wait for the newest clothes to come out and things like that. So my thing is, you got a child, mother, sister, brother, daughter, even if for yourself, this is for everyone to step up, to just being responsible and accountable for our actions. So I believe that this is going to be a healthy movement for the city, for the city of York, just to bring the young souls together and unite all the old ones, so we can actually talk to them youngins. It ain't about what side of town you from, what's your upbringing, or even way of what you may be affiliated with. Because at the end of the day, we all become one, because we gotta get it together in our community. And a lot of us don't know, if we don't get it together, we've fallen under this Willie Lynch syndrome, where we got the old hating the young and the young hating the old. I hate you because you darker, or this girl hates me or she hates her because and that's the cycle that we need to get out of. And as people, so we could unite, because we're not a menace to society. We became a menace to ourselves. And the only way for us to get out of this cycle and this web that we face with, it takes a collective, everyone in the community, to be a part of it. This ain't got nothing to do with telling on a person, nothing like this. It's called taking responsibility for our community. We don't need the government to police our community. We got to do our community first, because guess who's losing lives? Guess who's getting paid? Our family members were losing lives while these corporations is getting big bucks. We became a ticket for a graveyard, and we got to put a change and stop to that now.
Right. Something key you said earlier, and I know Quick can add to it, is earlier today I did an interview with Sister Tanya with the movement. We did it out East End, and I had mentioned that I want us to come together where if one brother is putting on a program, even if it don't got nothing to do with you, if the next brother's doing it, I believe it's only right that you support his program. And I'm not saying that. I'm still new, back here in York, even though I'm a native here. I'm just moving back here. But I've been to several different programs, but I'll see someone put something on and then someone else will do something else. But the brother that put something else on, I don't see him at that program.
That all the time.
Oh, yeah? Go ahead.
Okay, so with my company, with Starlight TV, we promote music, models, anybody that's trying to promote their brand on a positive platform. So people all the time inbox me flyers, they inbox me, send me music, they send me this, that, the third, hey, can you share this, can you do this, can you do that, can you help me with this? And I do it.
Right.
But when I check their social media base, they never return the favor as far as
reciprocate.
Yeah, reciprocate as far as putting Starlight out there once or twice or a share, and it's only hitting a button. Like I just say subscribe. And some of my closest friends is like, you'll stop helping these guys out and stop doing this because they don't return the favor. And my mentality, I'm saying I'm bigger than these guys. So if I stop doing it because they don't do it, that puts me in the same categories with them. You know what I'm saying? There's nobody, there's no artist, there's nobody that reached out to me that said, yo, I need the help from Starlight TV to do such and such, and I turned them down. As of yet, if you had something positive that you was working on or promoting, you know, I did whatever I could for you. But on the same token, I don't get the love back. It's like somebody might have a show for tonight. I mean, and they'll be in contact with me up until the show. After the show, I don't hear from them no more until they got something else going on. You feel what I'm saying? But I think it just goes back to people, it's selfish. They use what they can to get what they want, but they don't return the love.
Have you experienced any of that, bro? Well, you already said it with the Willie Lynch syndrome.
Yeah.
I don't know if people are familiar with that.
Well, if people are not familiar with the Willie Lynch syndrome, it was a slave owner on the Johnstown River 1,700 years ago. And he had a theory that he would control our people by the things that he placed into our communities. Where if we got the brother's prime example when he had FUBU come out, people would look at the brother and said, oh, look at you wearing that. But we'll go buy Gucci, Louis. He said, I will make you divide your peoples and split up. And so what we got to do as people today is shake that syndrome. Did we get over slavery?
You think they even know what it is?
No, they don't.
You're breaking it down now.
I don't think a lot of people know what it is because it's divide and conquer. Even if we see what's going on with today in the world with the president, of how he's dividing the Mexican race. And if you look at more deeper into that, he cannot get us out of there because we already here. As he said, they got nothing to lose. So it's not to prove him wrong. Guess what? We got to stand up as people and say, no, we got a lot to lose. We just like you. We are soul just like you. We are thought just like you. So you know, when you go out, it's about supporting one another. And that's what we have lacking our black communities, supporting each other. Right. We rather go to this person, support that, or may not like this person due to small jealousy or envy or something like that. When if we work together collectively, we can build a nation and a union all in one. But first we got to work together, be brothers. I might not like an individual. I might not want to talk to an individual. But the thing, on what I learned through my years, that regardless if I don't like a person or we come in disagreements, I'm still, as a man, still going to have the form of respect. We never got to talk again. You ain't got to say hi to me or nothing. But long as we have respect, we will start doing better in a community, as people. And it's just about more support. Even like when with QU, when he came out with the Starlight TV idea, I said, oh man, it was a positive movement. So I said, yeah, I'm gonna get on with Starlight. So somebody said, don't be a follower. But last time I checked, every great leader was a follower. You need to follow someone's example in order to say, okay, this is how I'm gonna lead. So sometimes in life we gotta just let our pride go. Because the smallest mustard seed of pride will enter us in a fire and have us doing wicked things and grow envy and jealousy in our heart. We got to impress ourselves more and others less. Just be brothers. Hug one another. There ain't nothing wrong with to say how are you today. And I man, it's just
a mouthful.
Right, mouthful, man. Right.
Pride and ego is it can be a huge stumbling block in us moving forward as individuals and as a people. And whoever is watching out there, I like to put things in simple terms. Let's look at it on sports. Man, you talked about sports before. Yeah. Man, it just burned me up that Kobe and Shaq could not get along. Right. You know what I mean? Imagine if they would have put their differences aside.
Right.
And they probably could have won 5, 6, 7 championships.
Sometimes pride can be a useless or a wasteless emotion. It can stop you from achieving a lot of things. Pride is a good thing when you take pride in raising your family, you take pride in sometimes. Right, self-esteem, but sometimes actual pride can, if it's used the wrong way, can hurt you.
Right. Well, I want to talk about, we're going to keep it on this March thing because I think it can really change what's going on, not for, not about me or anything like that, but I really think it can change what's going on in our city. Starting out with you quick, and I'll get back to you, brother. When you were growing up, around the way, what were 1 or 2 main factors that you saw that just kind of kept may have got you on the wrong track, or you seen a repetitive thing that got other brothers on the wrong track that still may have not got back on track? What were one or two risk factors, so to speak, that you saw?
With me, I grew up with a hard-working mother. She raised me and my brother. And then, you know, I had an uncle and a grandmother that was real involved in our lives. So I didn't really grow up like poor, even though we lived in on Duke Street in a project house, but we didn't grow up like going to bed hungry. And I'm not going to make it seem like my story was like my mom worked, we had a car, whatever the case may be. We got disciplined. You know, we went to bed at 9 o'clock like everybody else. We didn't. I got pretty good grades in school and stuff like that. I think when I got older, I took a fascination to the streets because I seen other people doing it and I thought it was cool at the time. And like any other thing, before you know it, you know you're knee deep in it. And that's how I got pretty much caught up in the streets. And but I always knew right from wrong. You know what I mean? And that's what I kind of, when I talk to some of these kids today, they don't understand consequences. I don't even know if they understand the right from wrong. You know what I mean? I don't know if they get
even though they see an uncle, a brother, or even a father going to jail, you don't think it's clicking in their mind like, I can't do that. You don't. I don't know. That's why I want to walk and talk to them and see exactly where their mind is. For me, I knew right from wrong. I knew the risks I was taking. I knew I was gonna have to go to jail if I got caught. I knew everything, but I still chose to go that route. And it just took me to the point where I was like, you know, I'm not with it anymore to say, you know, it's a mirage. The streets don't love you. Like when we was up on Maple Street the other day, and I was talking to Nakiba, I said, out of all the people that died in this area on Maple, the jungle, Maple Street's still here. You died for a block that you said you own this block or you run this, and the block is still here. 20 years later. Like he said, we don't own
so
the block.
like
20 years later. So all those people that's in jail doing life behind that block, all those people that got killed behind that block, the block is still there. Them project houses are still there. HUD housing is still getting money every month from them houses. Every month.
What you think when you were growing up? What are like one or two risk factors that you saw that was repetitive, whether it was you, whoever, that just sucked them up and sucked others up? Like what did you see?
You know, my life came with a little many complications. You know, in the late '80s, dealing with a mother that got addicted to drugs. Father, you know, he was on the go, went to California. Then around about 1989, 1990, you know, I started getting myself in trouble. I never been to a high school.
Was you in out of school or high school?
Nah, I was locked up all the time. As majority of my life was spent under the control of someone else. So like I never went to high school. I never went to middle school. When I got kicked out of the first, like a week after that. So you know, I was going to alternative school. So you know,
Here in York?
yeah, and then I went out to Texas. They sent me out to Texas to boot camp, you know, because it was I was dealing with an addiction at the time when it was real prevalent to the black community. But so I was trying to really find a way. Then as life went on, I wanted to change, but I was afraid to change because I was still dealing with that thing that we call pride. Is saying, if I change, would my homeboys or people love me the same? And then, you know, and then I got so caught up with, you know, doing so much stuff in the streets. And when I was a youngin', I was one of them youngins out here shooting and all that. Didn't even think about nothing. But for 7 years sitting in that cell, man, I thought I was never getting out. Sitting there listening to the stories and the memoirs of my old heads. When you know, I would walk to him, he say, count the steps. I say, oh, so I walk, and he said, how many steps? I say, it took 2 steps. He said, youngin', it takes yourself less than that to get yourself with 35 years in with life. It takes 1 step to make the wrong step. So, you know, that's what keeps me in balance today. Because my same old head, right, he's still at Greater for doing time. Know what I mean? And you know, when people, the youngins saying, "Oh, jail's this, jail's that," no. Every gangster that I know that's in there is trying to fight the way to get out of there. Know what I mean? Every gangster and everybody that been up the way, no. You got them guys in that law library trying to fight. Why? Because it comes to a point in your life where you got to change the condition of yourself. Because if you don't change the condition of yourself, nothing never going to change. So, you know, like, what brings me, so I say, okay, what keeps me grounded? Say, I got to be a passive person, but when a person look at me being passive, they say, well, he got soft. No, my thing is, how can I be a youngster's old head if I'm thinking like a youngster? Like, how can QU be my old head if he thinking younger than me? I mean, so that's where it comes about. Becomes where the older people in this community. There was a guy I was just talking. He said, oh, we tried. I'm reading the post on Facebook. We tried. Nothing works. This won't work. You know, that's the cycle that we need to get out of. That's that brainwashing syndrome of Willie Lynch. We can never make it. We can never climb to this mountain. We can climb to this mountain with strength and muscle. We got to understand hope. Hope's going to get us there. Slavery did not end in one day. I'm not saying that, okay, just because we start this movement, it's going to be peace within that week. We got to have consistency with this movement.
That's right.
Because we can't say we come one week and we lay off the next. Because if a lot of people are not familiar about back in the day when we was dealing with the epidemic of crack cocaine hitting our neighborhood, it was a slogan that they used to do, up with hope, down with dope. It slowed it down just a bit. But now it's like our youngsters today, even people my age, they still need guidance because they run around, you know, basically what I'm going to say is like, you know that a youngster's doing something, but you don't give an input and say a good word of advice. A good word of advice, you know, could keep a youngster off the street or make him just change his course. And it took me a long time to actually come to this point because, you know, I was always in and out of jail. I'm almost done now. Been out 18 months, about to max out in 4 months and live life. And it's just so much out here to see. So much even the Q you can offer you with Starlight. We got people work. We got GB working in Atlanta. We got Q travel. I do a lot of traveling. So the thing is, we got to start just coming together as one, a collective community, because if we don't come together, man, if we don't see what's going on in our own city, the buildings will become abandoned and the lots are becoming empty, meaning graveyards are being filled. That's because, and that's a business. So when are we as the people, as black in our black community, is going to stop being a menace to ourselves? Because we hear it all the time. I miss Broski. Okay, let's do better, so we won't have to miss Broski. Let's cry when Broski go to college. Let's cry when we send our little kid to a basketball camp and they score their first 2 points. My thing is, I see a lot of people say this, they complain this, that, and the third. Complaining didn't get us out of years of slavery. It took work. Complaining didn't get us out of oppression.
Great. That's a mouthful, brother. Piggybacking off what the brother said, but changing the question a little bit quick. At what point when you was going through your struggle, was it an individual or was it a situation that woke you up and said, enough is enough? And did that happen while you were down or when you got out? What brought about your awakening?
For me, I did 7 years. I was never the type of guy to go in and out of jail.
Okay.
So when I finally went to jail, I went to jail at like age 30, and I came home at 37. And I got like my first job. First real job. I might have had like 1 or 2 jobs when I was younger, but for like a week or so. But I got like my first job, and I've been there ever since I've been home. Been there almost 7 years now, and I just had to teach myself. See, they have programs for drug users, but they don't have programs for drug dealers. They don't have nothing that says, well, if you're used to living like this, when you get out, you got to start from the bottom and live like this. So I had to learn how to work check for check. I had to learn to get my credit together, and I just had to learn basic life. And then when I was around like some of my friends that like we all grew up together, but they took a different route. The younger, they might have went to the military or went to college or whatever they went. And when I'm hanging out with these guys, and I'm seeing like they're already married, they're already 12, 13 years. They're on their mortgage. They already got money set aside for this. So I'm thinking like, out of all that money I made when I was younger, I'm really 15, 16 years behind as far as being a man. And that was like my wake-up call.
Oh, that's what woke you up.
That's what woke me up. Like, I'm really behind. Like,
So
I'm
you was
not
already out, but just life circumstances.
Yeah, I just mentally I wasn't there. So once I start, realizing how a man operates, how a man works, how a man take care of his family, how a man, how a mortgage is cheaper than a rent, and a man with a job and good credit is better than a man with money and no credit. I didn't know all this type of stuff before I went to jail. So once I started getting introduced to real life issues, it just made common sense to go the right way. I don't like jail.
Right.
You know what I mean? I
Right.
did 7 years my first time. I definitely wasn't trying to go that route. And I just,
That's a great
for
awakening.
Right.
hustle. But my whole thing was, with me was, I was addicted to hustling. Hustling is an addiction. Just like getting high is an addiction. So with me, I have to, in order for me to maintain my addiction, I have to come up with other things to hustle besides drugs. So like when I do Starlight TV, or when I was with Ill Corp, the record company, or when I was doing On Our Way busing, like it feeds my addiction. Like I like being able to sell bus tickets for a trip. You know what I mean? I like being able. Yeah, it's legal, but to me, it's still a hustle. I still, I got the hustle mentality, but I don't gotta sell drugs to hustle. It's a million hustles. Drugs is just one. So I just feed my addiction by doing other things. I do like we do interviews, we do weddings, we do birthday parties, we do music videos. To me, this is all a hustle. If I'm giving you a service and you're giving me money back in return, you know what I mean, and I make money off my 9 to 5, and I make a little $400 or $500 off Starlight TV, I'm cool with that. But it was just a part of me. It was just a part of me saying it's time to grow up and do the right thing. And I got kids. My kids are like 24, 19, 15. Like I can't tell them to go this route. Like you said, if I still got a young man child, I'm not going to be the parent that smoke weed with my kids or let them get high in my house, or like a lot of parents, you can't smoke an L with your son or daughter and then tell them it's time to get a job. You know what I mean? You got to be the parent at 24 hours a day.
Right.
Brother Butch, what would you say, or what, or who gave you your awakening? At what point?
It took me many years, man. Like my journey, it's been ups and downs. I've been out of jail now 18 months. It's probably the longest I've been out of jail in my life. Okay. I'm 36 years old. I did about 19, maybe 20 years inside of an institution.
How young were you when you first?
When I first got locked up, I was about 9 years old.
9 years old?
9 years old, and
if you don't mind, what could they possibly lock a 9-year-old up?
Now,
you're not talking about alternative school, right?
No, I was actually in George Jr., Art, Glen Mill. I was in a lot of those youth places. So a lot of my youth was spent inside someone's walls. When I sit back in hindsight and said, man, only if I did not do this, it would be better. And it took me years. Like I even just got out 3 years. I did 3 years recently for public drunkenness and disorderly conduct. So this was my last stint. When I went back and sat down, I thought, and I said, man, something got to change. I got to do something different because I love just being out. Like I didn't never like the penitentiary, but during my 7 years, I was grateful for the penitentiary because what it did to me and helped me raise me as a man to get my mind right, because I was heading for self-destruction. I didn't know how to read when I first went in. Really, I didn't know how to write. Now, if you sit me down, I can write business proposals. I can write so much stuff. I know so much.
And you learned that when you were.
And I learned that while I was down. And this is the thing, that the message to the brother: don't take this footstep to try to learn what I learned, because some just never get the same chance. Right. I mean, so it's just been a journey in life. And now I'm here now, like talk to the people, talk to the youth. I think that's what my calling is here for. I mean, for those who may not understand, you got people who say, "Oh, he's crazy." No, I'm not crazy. I'm just misunderstood. Maybe if you understood me more better, you appreciate me. Because if you can appreciate me at my worst, you would love me at my best. I'm not no saint, and I'm not perfect. I have my ups and downs.
Right.
So the thing is, I just don't want our youngins, because I see the direction that it's going. From, like I say, I learned how to live without money, because money is not important, but it's important to everything that is important. Meaning, don't let money be the root of be the sole purpose of you having an evil soul. So the thing, you know, it's nothing wrong with giving, helping. I mean, because don't look for the short-term payback. It's something that is going to come back in the longer run.
Right. Quick, what do you think, you know, we could do, you know, better with the march going forward next week? You know, both of us and other people already said we thought more should be there, but I'm still appreciative of those who came. It's just the first week. And
Right.
When I was talking with Sister Tanya earlier, I gave the analogy of Noah's Ark. You know, everyone ain't jump on the boat, you know, right away, but when they saw what the man was saying, then people start jumping on. But what do you think we can do better to build up more, you know, support with people?
I
should
think
be there?
the first thing is going to be consistency.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Even if we get 5 to 10 more people to come out this week than we did last week, and then 5 to 10 more the following week or whatever. I don't think, me personally, I don't think that it's going to be like a double the amount of last week, because, like I said, a lot of people don't care. I mean, it's sad to say, but you ain't gonna have too many people that live outside the city there.
No.
If they're from York or they grew up in the city, but they, you know, managed to move out and they live in Dover now, they're not coming out to walk around the 600. You know what I mean?
Right.
You're not gonna have too many Caucasian people out there walking around because they don't go through that in their neighborhood. You never hear of Dover shooting up a park in Spring Grove.
Right.
So they're not going to be there.
And
you know what I mean? So
and that's what bothers me the most, when we see people, you know. And at one point in time in my life, I was that same individual. Never want to be out here shooting and things like that. All of us are familiar with the Scarface movie. We see Scarface, he meets the plug and everything like that. But he was supposed to do something before the word got out that he did not do. He was supposed to do whatever happened, supposed to be done to them people, but he didn't do it in the car. He said, why? Because he noticed, he said, there is women and children. And from looking at that, when we look at movies and videos, don't take that as this is the life. It's always a message and something. That's when I realized to say, you know what? I'm a gangster. So when a person says, oh, you're a gangster, they look and say, oh, you think boom, 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 bang, bang, shoot him up. But if you understand the values of a gangster has always been one who respects the woman, the children, and the old. The women is our love and comfort. The old is our wisdom and knowledge. And the children is our future. So when we start depleting away our children, that what we got left for our future? There is no future. Then it's left with broken homes. Fathers incarcerated. Mothers or fathers addicted to the streets or drugs in the street. So like with this movement, for that we're going to be meeting up on with your brother Shareef, I think it's actually going to be great, because if those who still don't come, one of our voice can equal 1,000, and we could bring one more if we bring one more voice. Overtime.
Spontaneous in the next week or so. That's going to be like, I think you're going to get just about everyone that was there last week. I'll probably be there again if they can make it, you know, with their work schedule or whatever. You might get a couple people that couldn't make it, that wanted to be there,
Right.
that might show up.
And I think those who, you know, did, Brother Tino said, you know, don't stop. That's the key. And yeah, we're not going to stop. And what I asked on the Facebook Live message, I think I did that yesterday. I think I seen you come on. I said, if you come, you know, do your best to bring at least 3.
Right.
And again, for the listening audience, 6 p.m., July 23rd, on the corner of King and West Street at Lincoln Charter School. That's where we're going to be. If you can't make it because of work or school or whatever, try to use social media to invite 5. So even just because you can't come, that don't mean someone else can't come. So that's what I asked for. Bring 3, invite 5 if you can't make it.
And another thing, real quick, Shareef, what our peoples need to understand, they say, oh, it has nothing to do with me. My bills is paid. I'm living good. But people, we need to wake up. Because if we look at what's going on, we only worry about what happened what happened with 2 Chainz, what happened with T. We worried about this hip hop world that's losing us. It's designed to take us off this path of doing good because we start getting caught up in these lyrics. Not even just media and music. But see what I'm saying? You can rap however you're gonna rap, sing however you're gonna sing. But you can't start just trying to, because a lot of things you can't try to say, okay, this is how I'm gonna live. Because the thing is, what's going on, peoples, is that our Attorney General is Jeff Sessions. And if we need to be alert of this. He says that on the Senate floor when Miss Bell is attacking him, it's all on YouTube, that he says black people are extremists. And this is the person that we go to, we feel as though our Constitution is violated. So we got to look now. We got many strikes against us as African American, Black Americans, Latino Americans, Spanish Americans in the community. So what it is, we need to stop actually getting rid of each other. Right. Build each other with wealth. Build each other with love. Build each other with hope. Because, you know, this journey ain't going to be easy. We're going to climb to this mountain. Some of us might slip and roll back down. But one thing we can't do is fall off the floor. We could get back up and try it again.
And real quick, I forgot to say, if anyone wants to call in, make a statement or a comment, 717-846-5067. 717-846-5067 if you want to call in and make a comment. So moving forward, like I was saying earlier, we have to change and both of you brothers have echoed it, we have to change the mindset of our youth, because you don't do away with your brother if you love yourself. But economically, we need economic power. Sister, I forgot her name. Yeah. She said, brother, you know, I like what you're doing, but we need economic power. Do you think it's possible somehow that we could get like a building somewhere where teens can go socially, get help with their homework, have a little pizza, hot dog, hamburger, little
I'm working
little pool.
on that right now with the. Well, that's
what can we do?
That's what the mayor was saying, that we're getting these buildings. We're going to have Jackson School, I think Devers, a couple other schools he named. 5 days a week from like 6 to 10.
6 to 10.
We'll have the gym, the cafeteria, stuff for them to do. And it's free. They could just come. You know, that's what we're working on right now.
I think they said the challenge with that is they don't want to open it, then don't have the volunteers to sustain it.
Right.
So once again, we need the community.
Yeah, so that goes back to
commitment,
caring about
commitment,
what's going on. You know what I mean? I'm involved. I'll probably be at the Jackson School because I'm over on the south side. That's like right around the corner from my house. It'll be easier for me to make it after I come home from work. Or whatever.
Do they have a target date for all this to happen?
I think they do, but hasn't been released yet. You know, dotting the I's, crossing the T's. But it's not real far off. School starts next month, so it'll probably be around that time, like an after-school program type thing.
Well, that's a good start.
That's a real good start.
Right.
It goes back to people caring about what's going on. Not just on social media, but actually willing to put in
the work,
do some physical work to, you know, help the young kids out. And like I said, we got to teach the younger kids to love themselves, but you got to teach the older ones to love yourself too, because they're more worried about being accepted than loving themselves.
Right. And before I go to you, Brother Butch, when I was talking with Sister Tanya earlier, we were talking about how many of our young people, I went back to when I used to have counseling groups in North Carolina, and I would ask the young people there simple things like, tell me one sentence about Minister Malcolm. They don't know hardly anything, but you ask them about the hip-hop artists and all that, they could run that down, but that goes to us, because if we're not teaching them, you know, how are they going to know? Even if the scripture says, how would I have known unless I had a teacher to teach me? That's actually like a biblical scripture. How would I have known unless I had a teacher to teach me? Like, what do you think we can do, bro, to instill knowledge of self in our youth, because it's not being taught in the school, and you've touched on that before, bro.
I believe what we can do for self-awareness and knowledge, first and foremost, we must know ourselves first, the individuals, to know the lineage of our peoples, know the trials and tribulations that our ancestors may have went through and how they overcame the struggles. Because when we just jump and think this life was just planned ahead to be so smooth for us, it took many years and many years of brutality, name calling, dehumanizing people. So we just need to realize who we are. Once we realize who we are as people, we can conquer the world, because a man or woman who can control their emotions can conquer the world. So if you want to be the best rapper, be the best singer, conquer your emotions. Then you will understand to appreciate life much better. I mean, so that's what we got to do. We got to look at ourselves. Like as back in the day when we heard the saying, that song from Michael, I'm talking to that man in the mirror, asking him to change his ways. It's some things when you look in that mirror and you feel and you say, man, I'm disgusted with this part, but this part is going to help me to growth. This part is going to help me come into manhood. Because if I stay at this stagnant level at the bottom, I'm never going to be able to leave these crabs that's below. Right. So in order to do that, we got to look at ourselves and say, what can I do? How can I be involved? Being involved meaning words of advice. If you're enjoining the good, forbidding the evil. Not saying I got to get on the phone and call the peoples. No, back in my day, I remember when I was growing up, my old heads used to see me and they used to say, "Youngin, what you doing out here?" Nowadays, we got old heads, see the youngins, they smoking and joking and kicking it. But when we sit back and look, how does that feel? Would you love if someone is doing this with your son?
Right.
How would you aren't we tired of making corporations rich with our lost souls? It's got to be a point in time in our life where we got to say, you know what? It's come long enough. The yell was here. The voices need to be heard. Because if the voice can't be heard, the people will never get the message. So we got to unzip in our mouth, speak up, so them young deaf ears can hear it. Because like I said, anything that I say goes to my mouth first, because I can hear it. And so I'm hearing it from my ears first. So we got to be a voice to the people. Work together.
And Brother Quick, you had mentioned earlier, and both of us, all of us agree about the pride and the ego. Now, the way I understand, a church on the West End today supposedly had a march. I don't know if they already had that plan. I got tagged in that.
If I didn't have this situation with you, I probably would have went out there and been a part of that also.
Right, yeah. I was so tied up. I did the interview earlier with Sister Tanya and the movement. So, I mean, how can we, link up with other church, organizations? Because this ain't about, faith or religion. We have a common problem. Like, what do you think we could do? You think we should just continue with our thing? We're going to continue, but what do you think we can do to lock arms with them? I'll get him to come to you on that.
I guess we could just reach out to whoever had that march today and see if their march was just a one-time thing, it's going to be a weekly thing, and see what we can
collaborate.
Yeah, collaborate, because it's not about a religion thing. See, a lot of I don't
speak
really,
your piece.
I don't really like getting into the religion thing.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But religion divides black people so much that you have your Muslim brothers, you have your Christian brothers, and then you have your brothers that don't believe in either or, and you can get cast out. You know what I mean? Like if you're a Christian brother and you tell them, well, I don't believe in a higher power, then you're worse than he's still your brother. Maybe you can talk to him and give him a reason to somebody that never had nothing or never felt the grace of God or nothing like that. It's hard for them to see what you're talking about. Sometimes so. I don't really like to get into the. I like to do. I'm gonna say a community thing. I really don't like using the word black because for some reason it's like if you love black people, then they try to say like you're a racist, or whatever the case may be. Anything to separate us. Right. So I say my community, but my community is black. Right. You feel what I'm saying? I just feel as though like if we could get all the churches, we can get all the mosques, we could get
very powerful.
Yeah,
one on every corner.
Yeah, we could get. We could get everybody to pull together and like I don't understand why it shouldn't be that hard to do.
Right. I agree with you. It's very divisive, and anyone that's listened to me, just a half hour ago, I open up with every talk I do to my Christian family. to my Muslim family,
Right.
to my Hebrew Israelite family, to
Right.
my people in the streets. I try to be all inclusive, even though I'm a Muslim, right? So I put that stuff to the side so we can bring us all in, because we have a common problem that's affecting us all. It's very divisive. What you got to say about that, bro?
It became an epidemic with our community. Because like as Brother Q said, my community is the black community. My community is the Latino community. That's my community, you know, and we have our Caucasians that's in our community. That's still a part of that community. But the mass majority of my community is people that look like me and people that look like you. And then my thing is, I speak about a lot of these things. Like I see a lot of things that where people want to always say I'm involved. But we supposed to have all these programs that we can utilize. But the thing that I'm seeing, all they's doing is telling the youth lies. Rather than utilizing the situation that we got, we'll tell the youth lies just so it'd be beneficial for that person at the moment. You know what I mean? And this is what a lot of people they're worrying about more of their wealth than their community.
1 second, bro. Yes. Hour of power. Yes. Hold on 1 second, brother. Do you have a question or a statement? Okay, hold on 1 second. You on? You on, brother?
Hello?
Yes. State your name real quick, brother.
My name is Greg. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
All right. This is my statement. My statement is this. I was saying deja vu because I was having this same conversation with my block association that while we can't buy a building and give the youth something to do, we have volunteers in the neighborhood that won't mind, but it seems like there's a problem with purchasing the building. And another thing, the brother to the right, I'm standing in front of you with the little brim on. He said some good things I like. It's like, what about we could teach the young kids our history? You know, if we teach the kids a little bit of our history, they'd be more motivated to do better things. And I was trying myself to try to get a couple churches together to do things in the community, but everybody's so divided. You know, I agree with everything y'all saying because I was channel surfing and you caught my eye.
Well, stay connected. This is the Hour of Power. You can look me up on YouTube, Shareef Hamid on Facebook, and Brother Stanley has his platform with Starlight TV, and Brother Butch is doing things. Don't get lost in the mix, bro. Stay up with us because we need everyone to make this work. And keep listening, and we're gonna let Brother Butch continue. Thanks for calling in and stay connected. And are you in the area here?
Yes, I'm downtown York.
Okay, so July 23rd, this Monday coming up at 6 p.m., we'll be meeting on the corner of King and West Street at 6 p.m. So come out and bring 3 to 5 people with you. Bring your whole family.
I'm going to bring everybody.
All right.
This is my son of voice coming.
All right. Thank you, brother. Thank you for calling in.
Thank you for having me. And one more thing before I go. One more thing. This is y'all not speaking so good in the mic, so it's kind of hard for me to hear you.
Okay. Thank you, brother.
All right. And
Brother Butch.
Real quick, I want to piggyback on something that this gentleman just said. He said, you know, if that was all agreeable, but the question that I got when he said why, my thing is why, meaning we got to look at ourselves first, because let's not get caught into being a dependent on a government,
right? Because
when we become dependent on the government, it starts putting division amongst our community. So in order for us to come together to get this building, just think about all the senseless money that we spend. Think about the things you say I really don't need, but I go get it because I want it. So, you know, if we just start, you know, saving it up together and putting it up together collectively, man, we'll have our own center. Because when there has
to be no strings attached.
Right, with no strings attached. Because when slavery came around and when slavery was in, we couldn't go to the government and beg them and say, can y'all do this? We had to do a march. We had peaceful protests to give the people awareness, to say this is what we need to do. When we are minorities or living in the ghetto or in the community or in the hood, whatever way we want to call it, we got to come together and we shall build our nation together.
And let's make one thing, clear. This is the hour of power. This isn't funded by, anyone. I'm not attached to anything. Your enemy is not going to equip you to take himself down. That doesn't make any sense. That's like going to war with someone and they say, here's some extra weapons to take me down, but I'm in war with you. Right. So we cannot be in the mindset that our enemy is going to equip us in any way to take down what they're doing. That doesn't make any sense. So we got to do for self. When other ethnic groups come here to America, they don't make any apologies. This is Chinatown, this is Koreatown, whatever. Right. And they are self-sufficient. That's why they are powerhouses. So we have to be self-sufficient.
That's why we're the, real quick, I know we run out of time. That's why black people are like, economically, we're at the bottom because we don't own anything. Nothing.
Right.
You know what I mean?
But we're making everyone else rich.
Right. So, like, if we could just spend money with each other, use a black plumber, use a black mechanic.
Circle the dollar.
Circle the dollar around in the community. Man, that's above a lot of people's head. They don't understand what. But
it's the mindset. That's why we're moving out in the community. I know we can't do it overnight. I really want to work on our mindset and just change some of our thinking. Like I had a sister earlier to say, "Oh, brother, you look really nice. That's a nice shirt." And I'm sitting to myself, brother, I had this shirt for 15. You said you're 36. This shirt is almost half as old as you are.
Let me get it.
I've had this shirt for 15 years, but I learned from my dad. I don't go and get all this name brand stuff. I hang up my clothes. I iron my clothes. I put my shoes in the box, and I think I look just as good as anyone else. Right. But you got people still in this mindset they're going to spend their last dollar on some name brand clothes.
And that's
the mindset.
And that's what mind boggles me so much. I see people, they want to look good and have all this. You got 3 and 4 cars. That amounts to nothing. Because of that amounts to nothing. All the money in the world that you may have amount to nothing. Because why? You never invested in yourself and in the future of your children. How many of us can say that that's why I said, I had to leave that trap alone. Because that trap, it ain't beneficial for me. I have more fun than a trapper do. I travel more than a trapper do being legal. So the thing is, you got to come to a point in life and say, you know what? I got to make a change. I got to do something different. Because when the money go, will the honey stay, as Jay-Z say? Will they stay, or the bartender still pull my Alizé? The thing is, when you're not popular, you become irrelevant. But when you just be yourself and just strive, you become the most popular person to yourself, then others will see it.
Right. So solutions moving forward. We got 8 minutes. Is that right, Queen?
We have 6 minutes.
6 minutes. Okay. And shout out to our Queen Alicia. This isn't as easy as it looks with the background and all that. The numbers coming across the screen. Sister's been with me from day one with the show. So shout out to our Queen Alicia making this thing go.
No doubt.
6 minutes. What can we do, to make this movement? I know we talked about it before, so we're meeting next Monday at 6 p.m. What are some things that we can do to encourage others? Because it's numbers and power. What can we do within these next? We only got about 4 or 5 days to build up the numbers.
I would say try to get in contact with some church folks. If you know anybody, if you got an aunt, uncle, cousin, anybody that goes to church, fathers, shoot them a line, see if they'll be interested. Social media, share, subscribe. At work, invite people from your job. Hey, if you're not doing nothing this Monday, come out. West and King Street. We're gonna
move out from there.
Right.
What do you think we can do to get more people interested?
I think what we can do, and for those who may not we have people that we gotta understand that's maybe not be the or not people's person,
Right.
people's person, or person that just don't want to be seen in the light or things like that. But long as you and your higher power know that you are enjoying the good, maybe if it's just posting up posts on Facebook, sharing an event, telling your friends that you know, the ones that are sociable, the ones that you know is about change, because everybody got positive people. I don't care how negative you are. Still, you can still share it. Just support it because this is what you into. Just a word and support. Just support. Even if you don't show, just your thought of caring and pushing that button and say share.
Right. And you know, like we said, we have to overcome you know, the division with, you know, religion. This isn't no religious group. I've been saying it over and over and over again. And if we can just get one church to participate, that would be powerful, because the average church, I don't know how many you know members that they have, and we're not picking on the church. It's just that's the dominant faith. The mosque too. None of them are off the hook.
I think it's the mosques, the synagogues. It blew my mind yesterday. Excuse me. I was looking at something on TV. They said they need to raise $5 million. So I actually just called in and said, "Where's this money going? Is it going to St. Jude's, or is it going to help kids fight cancer?" Things. They said no. Yeah, there was people calling. They said it was just to keep a broadcast on. I said, "This cost this much for a broadcast when we got many lives lost in the street." So you know, so it is a time where you know the churches, the masjids, the synagogues, where it's time to come involved. Stop driving the big cars, looking good. No, because what's happening is our same community is getting destroyed.
Right.
Only thing left in these fields now is becoming no grass, just with dirt, and they just waiting to put a cemetery there. People, let's stand up.
That's business. And it's a big business, and we cannot be the cash cow of death.
Right.
We want people to live prosperous lives, and we deserve to be safe and feel safe, especially our women and our children. So again, I think we got about 1 or 2 minutes left. We're gonna put it out there again next Monday, 6 p.m. on the corner of King and West at Lincoln Charter School. We got parking on the side streets. We're gonna meet there. If you're gonna come in person, try to bring 3 to 5 people with you. If you can't make it, like both of the brothers said, get on social media and invite people to come so we can make our streets safe. And
another thing, August 3rd on Queen and College Avenue, we'll be utilizing the College Avenue gym. There will be many things for the kids to do. That you know, we got self-help groups coming out, possibly job opportunities. You know, comedians, local rappers, singers, gospel groups, blues band, jazz. You know, it's just to unite the community. And, you know, it's a community affair where we come together and start working as a community where even though if I don't like you, I can still respect you to do business.
Right, because it's for the people.
Because it's for the people.
Starlight TV, anything coming up that you want to put out there?
Nah, not right now. You know, we just this is my little movement right here. You know, I still do my other thing behind Starlight TV as far as videos, interviews. But right now, you know, I'm focused on every Monday. Let's build this thing up.
I appreciate your support. I appreciate both of y'all support. You, I just can't say, you know, how much, and we're gonna share this here, and we're gonna change this city.
Right. And I'll keep the people in tune. I actually got another job in a farm, working with ponies and horses like that. So I'm gonna keep the people informed. So you know, youth that might like to do that. Yeah, I'm a street guy, but I'm not afraid to be in that field with them because I changed my direction.
All right. So again,
and
this
thanks
is,
for having us, Shareef.
No doubt. This is the Hour of Power with Brother Shareef, my brother Quick from way back in the day, and my new brother here, Brother Butch. Just very powerful. So next Monday, 6 p.m. on the corner of King and West. Be there, be square. We're going to change this thing around, no doubt.
Peace. 30 seconds. Like I said, don't forget the event. Unite each other, be together, unite as one. We are a family. Even if you don't know that person, you still in that lineage of people. We are still all united and together as a family. That's the only way we're going to come over this disease of violence, y'all. We got to work together.
Thank you for listening.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks for having us, Shareef.
No doubt.
All right, bro.